If the 2020 agreement was the ceasefire, Meghan's recent behavior is being seen as the first real breach. What was once a quiet understanding has now become a public flashpoint, not because of one scandal, but a series of subtle provocations that suggest she's not just ignoring the HRH restriction, she's defying it. One example, a podcast gift basket sent to Jaime Kern Lima with a handwritten note signed with the compliments of Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex, a title she agreed to stop using 5 years ago. The backlash was instant. It wasn't just a faux pas, it was viewed as a challenge to royal authority. Then came the podcast itself. Meghan appeared to cry while discussing her struggles, but sharp-eyed viewers noticed there were no actual tears. And when an old clip resurfaced of her bragging that she could cry on command in just 3 seconds, suddenly that emotional moment looked rehearsed. But the breaking point? The couple's unauthorized visit to Nigeria. Officially labeled private, the tour featured all the trappings of a royal engagement: handshakes with generals, speeches, charity visits, and coordinated outfits fit for official duties. The problem? Buckingham Palace had no idea it was happening. To insiders, this wasn't just bad optics. It was unauthorized diplomacy, something the UK government takes seriously. When unelected royals meet foreign leaders without approval, it risks creating diplomatic confusion and undermining foreign policy. At the same time, polls showed public support for Meghan had collapsed. 77% of Brits now say she should be stripped of her Duchess title. Not just HRH, all of it. And reportedly, Prince William was furious. The Nigeria trip and continued use of royal titles were seen as crossing a line, a public rebuke of palace authority, a challenge to his future reign. Now Parliament is stepping in. What once looked like tabloid drama is becoming a constitutional matter. Legal petitions are being filed, members of Parliament are speaking out, and Meghan Markle may soon face a reckoning, not in the press, but in the same halls of power that gave her the title in the first place. Prince William stayed silent for years. Through Oprah interviews, documentaries, and public accusations, he held the royal line: never complain, never explain. But now, insiders say he's done waiting. Behind closed doors, William has reportedly told aides that when he becomes king, he'll do what his father hasn't: strip Meghan and Harry of their royal titles, completely and officially. And for William, this isn't just about royal protocol, it's personal. It's about protecting the crown from being used as a brand by two people who walked away from their duties but kept the perks. The final straw, Meghan and Harry's Nigeria trip, which looked like a royal tour but was never approved by the palace. William, raised to one-day rule, sees this as a challenge to the monarchy itself. According to sources, he's already exploring the legal steps to remove their titles, a rare move, but not without precedent. Parliament is warming up too, with new legislation being drafted that specifically targets the Sussex titles. And while William has never publicly criticized his brother, sources say his patience is gone. Quiet strength, they say, has now turned into private resolve. This isn't revenge. It's about drawing the line. You're either royal or you're not. William knows the crown can't afford blurred lines, and in his view, Meghan crossed them long ago. In the UK, royal titles aren't just ceremonial, they're constitutional. Removing one isn't about public shaming or press coverage, it's rare, political, and grounded in law. That's why the current situation is so significant. A formal petition in the House of Lords now lays out detailed accusations against Meghan Markle, using the Duchess title for personal branding, breaking the 2020 agreement with the Queen, and engaging in what lawmakers are calling unauthorized diplomacy, including her Nigeria visit and Netflix deals. The core claim: Meghan turned a royal role into a revenue stream. Under the 1917 Royal Titles Act, the monarch can revoke titles, but usually does so with political support. And that's exactly what's building. A new removal of titles bill is gaining momentum in Parliament, even among MPs who typically don't back royal power. They say it's not about silencing Meghan, it's about protecting the meaning of monarchy. The petition outlines 5 major violations: using HRH and Duchess in private and public communication, conducting appearances styled as official engagements, breaking agreements made with Buckingham Palace, monetizing the Sussex name, mixing royal status with political messaging. Individually, these might seem small. Together, they form a legal case that Meghan has abused her title, and Harry may not be off the hook either. His name is reportedly in early drafts of the bill as well. Critics argue this isn't personal, it's about principle. That title should stand for duty, not branding, and if Parliament acts, it won't just be Meghan facing consequences. It'll mark a shift, one where the monarchy reclaims control from those treating it like a celebrity brand. As one constitutional advisor bluntly put it, if the king won't protect the crown, Parliament will. Back in 2020, public opinion was split. Some saw Meghan as a victim of outdated royal tradition, others saw her as a brand-savvy opportunist. But by 2025, that debate is over. A recent YouGov poll shows 77% of Brits now support stripping Meghan of her Duchess title. That's not just a majority, it's a national mandate, and it cuts across political and generational lines. Why the shift? It's not just about behavior, it's about what the monarchy represents. Meghan and Harry claim they've stepped back from royal life, yet continue operating with royal optics. From their Nigeria trip to Netflix deals, their image still leans on the crown they left behind. The Nigeria visit was a turning point. To many, it looked exactly like an official royal tour, but without palace approval. Photos with generals, speeches, press coverage, all wrapped in royal symbolism, and the backlash? Immediate. Front pages called them shadow royals. Hashtags like a duchess of nothing and title grift trended for days. Even longtime supporters started to turn. One former fan told Sky News, she said she wanted out. Now she's using the title to sell things. It feels fake. Across the Atlantic, Meghan's star is dimming too. Podcast flops, Netflix fatigue, and public criticism from former partners like Spotify. It's not just PR trouble, it's brand erosion. And people have noticed, Meghan's power doesn't come from the palace anymore. It comes from public perception, and that perception is shifting fast. This is why Parliament is acting, not in defiance of the people, but because of them. Title removal isn't just being discussed in elite circles. It's echoed in local councils, surveys, and voter sentiment. Even 61% believe Harry should lose his HRH title too. For many, this isn't about punishment, it's about boundaries. Titles must mean something, or they mean nothing. And if Prince William becomes king, he'll inherit more than the crown. He'll inherit the public's demand for accountability. And that may be the final blow to Meghan's title and the royal identity she's still holding on to. This story is racing toward a breaking point. With public opinion turning, Parliament debating, and pressure mounting, it's no longer a matter of if, but how this ends. So what happens if Prince William follows through? Outcome 1. The title is stripped if Parliament passes the bill, and or if William uses royal precedent when he becomes king. Meghan could lose the Duchess of Sussex title entirely. Not just HRH, everything gone. She'd go from a global royal figure to Meghan Markle, no titles attached. Her brand, built around royalty, would take a massive hit. She might still have fame, but without the mystique, the allure fades, and there's no going back. The monarchy doesn't do second chances. Outcome 2, nothing happens. For now, Charles stays quiet. The legislation stalls. Meghan keeps the title, technically, but public pressure continues to rise. Every time she uses Duchess, new backlash follows. Media partners may hesitate, audiences grow weary, and slowly the brand erodes under constant scrutiny. Stuck between royalty and celebrity, the Sussexes risk losing both. Outcome 3. William waits, then strikes. This is what insiders say is most likely. William bides his time. Then, as king, he moves swiftly. A royal decree, a televised statement, final, clean. The title is gone, not as revenge, but as restoration of order. Meghan would be the first royal spouse in modern history to lose her title by royal command. A message heard loud and clear. You can't wear the crown part-time. Outcome 4. Meghan steps down, first sensing what's coming. Meghan could jump ahead and renounce the title herself. She could frame it as empowerment. I'm moving on. Some fans might applaud the move, but there's a catch. It admits the criticism was valid. She gives up the crown on her own terms, but loses the royal sheen for good. And from that point on, she's judged not as a duchess, but as a public figure. No matter how it plays out, one thing is certain. The monarchy is under pressure to act. It can't survive blurred lines. And if Prince William has his way, he's going to draw a very clear one. This didn't begin as drama, it began with duty. A woman marrying into a centuries-old institution, bringing hope for a modern monarchy. But that promise unraveled fast. Royal service gave way to podcasts and press tours. The title Duchess turned from a symbol of tradition into a marketing tool. And while the crown stayed silent, public trust began to erode. Now the silence is breaking, Parliament is acting, William is watching, and Meghan stands at the center, not of gossip, but of a serious question. Can a royal title be used like a brand? Or does it still mean something? That answer may soon come not through drama, but through law. Because for William, and for many in Britain, the message is clear. The crown isn't a costume, it's a commitment. And if you walk away from the duty, you don't get to keep the title. It didn't start with a press release or a viral headline. It started with a whisper inside the oldest halls of British power, a whisper that Meghan Markle may soon lose the one thing she's clung to more tightly than any crown, her royal title. And this time, it's not coming from gossip blogs or bitter royal watchers. It's coming from the inside, from the man who may soon be king. Prince William, the future monarch, has reportedly had enough. Enough of the drama, enough of the headlines, enough of Meghan Markle using a title she promised to give up. Now, insiders claim he's preparing to do what his father wouldn't: strip Meghan and Harry of their royal status for good. But how did we get here? Why now? And what's really driving this sudden, silent power shift inside the monarchy? Because while King Charles stays quiet, Prince William is done playing diplomat, and what happens next could change the royal family forever. To outsiders, Her Royal Highness may sound like fancy tradition, but in the British monarchy, it means power, duty, and legitimacy. It's not a nickname. It's a role earned through service, not a label to wear at will. When Meghan married Prince Harry in 2018, she became the Duchess of Sussex and was granted the HRH title. But just 2 years later, the couple stepped back from royal life. As part of that 2020 agreement, they were allowed to keep their Duke and Duchess titles, but they were told clearly no more using HRH publicly or privately. It seemed like a clean break. They moved to the US, pursued media projects, and distanced themselves from palace protocol. But then, the HRH title started showing up again, on gift baskets, on signed cards, in small, subtle moments. Meghan continued to use the styling she had agreed to drop, and while that might seem harmless to some, to royal insiders, it was seen as a serious breach of trust, not just of etiquette, and of an agreement personally overseen by the late Queen Elizabeth. The most glaring example? A podcast gift to Jaime Kern Lima with a card signed with compliments of Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. That line didn't just spark criticism, it sparked outrage. For many in the establishment, this was the moment everything changed. If Meghan was willing to use a forbidden title in private, what else was being ignored? What did it say about her intentions and her relationship with the monarchy? To Prince William, sources say it was a turning point, because while King Charles may be reluctant to act, William isn't. And this quiet defiance may be what finally pushes the royal family to draw a line in the sand.